So welcome. I am excited you are here. You're going to learn a little bit about LifeVantage, which is a biotech company that focuses on the science of aging, how we get damaged, what that damage leads to, and most importantly, the science that proves we can slow it down in everyone at every age, including our animals, which is what we're here to talk about today, Protandim and animal health. So we Changing Animal Health. I'm excited to be joined by Dr. Lee Seward. Dr. Lee Seward has years of experience and expertise, also a passion for educating on advances in the science of animal health. So I'm going to invite or introduce Lee in just a bit. Lee, am I running through this or are you going to do it? Are we doing it together? What are we doing tonight?
I think the same as last time, unless you want to change.
Just run through it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, let me do that. So this science begins with one human study. When it was released in 2005, ABC, PBS, NBC, the Wall Street Journal, and Dr. Sanjay Gupta reported on this breakthrough in science. They educated the world on why we age, how our cells get damaged, and then this promising and powerful new science that proves we can slow that damage down. So we're going to start with this first human study, which it relates to this science that was then applied to animals. And that's why we're starting here, so that you understand it began for humans and then animals have the same cell structure, which Dr. Lee will go into.
Following is an ABC primetime investigative report that aired in 2005.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life.
It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig.
Okay.
I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver.
This is pretty exciting stuff you're finding, huh?
It is. We're very excited about it. His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes.
Have you discovered the fountain of youth?
I wouldn't put it that way, but we may have discovered something that will tell us a lot more about how we age, what happens biochemically, and maybe how we can slow it down.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. Taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old. But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
So we're going to cut that short. In its full entirety, it's about 10 minutes long, but this is really the most important part of this science. This is the first human study. So what did we learn? We learned that starting in our late teens, our cells stop making these powerful enzymes that protect and defend us from damage. And that's why we start traveling up that red line of oxidative stress and aging. So what does Protandim do? it turns on a switch in our cells called NRF2 that literally turns the lights back on and gets our cells working again, making these powerful enzymes again. And that is why in the cells of a 20-year-old, just a little bit of damage, oxidative stress was reduced by 20% in 30 days. Cell made a few of those antioxidant enzymes to bring that damage down to the blue line. But in an 80-year-old taking the same pill in 30 days, oxidative stress was reduced by 70% and down to that blue line, which is why 14 years ago, when I learned this, I started taking this product. And it has changed my life and given me an opportunity, not just to change my health, but to help other people. So that's why we are here, to help you understand the problem of oxidative stress, traveling on that red line, and how to get down to the blue line every single day for the rest of your life. So for more information, you can go to pubmed.gov, which is here, or you can go to Google Scholar, my favorite. You can type in any condition, and oxidative stress is at the core of that problem, of that damage. You can type in oxidative stress in your heart, your brain, your gut, your skin, your lungs, your blood vessels, your eyes. All oxidative stress is bad for the body, and why it is so important to slow it down and what Protandim does. But you can also type in Protandim, and there you will find research by leading universities who understood the damage of oxidative stress, its relationship to the conditions they were studying. So universities like Harvard, Ohio State, the American Heart Association, the National Institutes on Aging, all conducted their own research on this actual product, Protandim. And each of them proved again and again that it not only reduces oxidative stress, but activates other enzymes in our cells that protect us from other causes of damage and aging. Today, there are over 30 independent studies on Protandim and 7 patents protecting this formula and proving it works. This is this shift from supplementation. Why did we start taking supplements? Because our body wasn't working and making these things. So we started taking antioxidants in all forms. And as we found out, those weren't too powerful tools. They didn't solve that damage. They're one molecule of a blueberry or a vitamin C will destroy one of those free radicals, versus the antioxidant enzymes our cells make are SOD, catalase, and glutathione. They will gobble up 1 million free radicals in a second before they can damage the cell, and then go gobble up another million and another million. And that's how you protect yourself from that damage. So we didn't stop here. We next looked at collagen, and collagen, when I first heard about it, oops, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong presentation. We're going to talk about Protandim. Oh, sorry about that. It's been a long week. So now we're going to talk about animal health. So Protandim, right? We were actually, all of us learned that our dogs have the same cell structure as we do, and therefore they also have oxidative stress. They also have the conditions that are associated with oxidative stress. So we started to give our animals Protandim and saw results. And that's when LifeVantage formulated a product specifically for dogs to combat oxidative stress in a chewable tablet. Let me just go to this next part. There are oxidative stress is a significant factor in the health and well-being of all animals, particularly mammals, including humans and dogs. They basically have that same cell structure. We differ in function, but we are exposed and respond to oxidative stress the same. For example, dogs probably more than humans. They're athletes at their core. They play games, they fetch endlessly, they run by your side on a bicycle, they jog with you. This exercise increases their metabolism, which is a source of oxidative stress. In fact, dogs start with a higher metabolic rate. Then we have an increased metabolism means increased oxidative stress and damage. So it's also an explanation for one of the explanations for a shorter lifespan. Dogs are also exposed to environmental factors, right? Like diets that are high in, additives, sorry about this, diets that are high in, what's the word I'm looking for, Lee? Commercial diets that are less wholesome, right? They've got preservatives.
Yeah, high carbohydrate grains and additives such as coloring and preservatives and all these things that affect the quality of the diet. And many of those commercial diets have these factors and are not the most wholesome.
Keep going.
Well, And as Michelle said earlier, there are athletes, and as athletes, even the smallest dog and the most housebound dog is an athlete. They, like she said, they just start from a stopping rest and can jump around and greet you or run up and down the stairs, etc. And that, is a source of oxidative stress by increased metabolism. But probably most significantly is that dogs in general are exposed to many environmental factors, UV radiation, electromagnetic radiation, solar radiation, all the electromagnetic sources that we are exposed to. But they're also exposed to the toxins, all the toxins that are generated by human activity, and the pollutants, the industrial pollutants, the pollutants from agriculture, the pollutants we use in our own daily lives, the cleaners, the things we use in our household maintenance and in our yards, all those things. Dogs live in that environment. They're on the floor. They can't protect themselves from it. They don't wear clothes. So they're exposed to these things at rates that even exceed what we are. So this is all a source of oxidative stress. We know that these toxins enter the cells and cause oxidative stress. As Michelle talked about earlier, one of the sources of information that I find most valuable, particularly for animals and dogs, is Google Scholar. Not Google, but Google Scholar, which is a source of technical and scientific literature. I can say if you search Google Scholar, like was mentioned earlier, like you search PubMed with oxidative stress in dogs, in Google Scholar, you'll find close to 300,000 results, citations about work that have been, and science that has been looked at from oxidative stress in dogs, including articles from some of the most prestigious journals in veterinary medicine, such as the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association and the Journal of American Internal Veterinary Medicine. So it's a high level of science that has shown the importance of oxidative stress in dogs. For me, one of the key elements for my interest in Pet Tandem, Protandim, the formulation that is for dogs, that is based on the same 5 natural ingredients that are in Protandim for humans, is that there's a study, an actual clinical study like that done in humans, but done in dogs, that show the same benefits essentially as what we see in humans. That is the increase in enzymes, particularly catalase, a statistically significant result that shows the increase in catalase, one of the enzymes, and we take it as a marker that it's having the same benefit in dogs as Protandim has in humans. And interestingly, part of this clinical study that was done in dogs, it was a double-blind study. Actually, the guardians for the animals and the people conducting the study didn't know which of the 80 dogs were on Pet Tandem versus which were on placebo at 2 different study sites, and the guardians were charged with looking at their dogs and making observations, specific observations that were detailed in their instructions. And what they found, dogs that had problems before the trial started, those problems were resolved in those dogs that found Pet Tandem. Further, I think, what's the next slide, Michelle? As I said, the increase in catalase, but there was also a decrease in TBARS, the same marker that was reported in the human study. That decrease in TBARS is an indication of a decreasing oxidative stress. The owners made observations that I mentioned, and the things that they observed really were critical. There was a significant improvement in functional scores involving, that is statistically significant, meaning it was due to Pet Tandem, improved cognitive function and behavior. As I said, it's the same ingredients that were in Protandim in the human formulation, but with the addition of omega-3 fatty acids sourced from human grade fish oil and avian sternum cartilage as a source of type 2 collagen, but also glucosamine and chondroitin. So those little added ingredients in small amounts work with the proprietary blend that is patented to aid in delivery of the significant benefits. And those benefits, as I mentioned, increased activity, playfulness, energy, supporting joint health, hearing and eyesight, and addition to the hair coat, improved hair coat. So cognitive function and behavior.
Jumped ahead.
LifeVantage has a number of products that activate different areas. In this case, NRF2 activation that Michelle outlined. That NRF2 activation is carried over into several products, including, as we mentioned, Protandim for dogs. LifeVantage has a range of activating products, so it is the activation company. One of my favorite papers is a paper that came out of Washington State University from Drs. Paul and Levine. The significance of this paper is that these two investigators reviewed all the scientific literature involving NRF2 activation. They looked at hundreds of papers that had been done throughout the world looking at NRF2 activation in humans and other animals, including dogs. They looked throughout this literature and came up with a conclusion that NRF2 activation may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and the most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of health. I mean, what a statement. And as we know from our work with dogs, that's not just human health, that's in the history of animal health.
Thank you, Lee. I adore you. I'm going to turn this off and open the screen up. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for taking over on that. You should have been doing it from the very beginning, and I did a horrible job of introducing you.
No, I didn't introduce you, so
I know.
there's-
We kind of jumped in because we got caught in a conversation, but I'm Michelle Scaff, and I've been here. I learned about LifeVantage when the Protandim was sitting on a retail shelf without its story getting told. And I watched ABC, and the next thing you knew, I had my own experience, and then it became my passion to help other people benefit from this science. That's how I met Lee, Dr. Lee Seward. His background is incredible. While he started in veterinary medicine and practice, he worked on a project, which was a research project, and became enamored by that research and went on to work and lead teams at Merck, developing incredible important products for animal health, including HeartGuard and ivermectin. So we are so fortunate that he is here at LifeVantage. He learned about it on an airplane by someone sharing that ABC News report with his wife, and he went home and did his research, and now he serves on our science advisory board and is a really huge leader in the science. So this is where we turn off the camera and really the opportunity for you to ask questions. In fact, I'll even turn off the recording so there's no recording running. And that's why we do this, because we want to help you get your questions answered so that you understand the science and what it might mean for you or your animal's health. So does anybody have a question? Raise your hand, unmute, ask, put it in the chat. Lee's here to